Right, so this video is going to be about a topic that a lot of people find it hard to talk about to other people. They tend to kind of keep it to themselves a lot. They find it hard to stay inspired or find it hard to stay motivated. So I've got kind of a list of things that have helped me, and these are all going to be based on my personal experiences, how I've overcome certain plateaus in my career, and what I've done to kind of keep my mind fresh and open and try to stay motivated, and who inspires me, what inspires me, how I constantly try and up the bar every time. So for those who are learning anything, there are kind of stages in which you learn it. So for me personally, I'm a pianist. So I remember my first memory of me picking up the instrument when I was in year 7 in 2003, when I first picked it up properly. Now, before I was in year 7, I used to learn stuff a lot by ear. So I would hear something and I'll be able to just pick it up pretty much instantly. And my first memory of me actually picking up something was, I used to have a little Casio keyboard with batteries in it. I used to have a little Sega Master System, a little games console for those that don't know. I'm sure you all know that. And on the games console, it had pre-built games in it. So my pre-built game was Sonic the Hedgehog. And I remember this was back in 1995 or 96 or something like that, where I'd loved the game and I loved the theme song to the game. So I would have the piano next to me and then I'll try and work out how it sounded on the piano. And I realised that I was I was pretty good at picking up the theme just by ear, having no prior knowledge of notation, not knowing the notes or anything like that. That was my first stage of interest, which is stage 1 that I've written down, is interest. So finding an interest and what interests you in the instrument or whatever you're learning. Now, when I was in year 7 onwards, from year 7 onwards, we had to learn stuff in class. So we learned how to play a few chords. We learned how to play like Walking on the Moon by The Police. We learned how to play just various different things. And I realised that I was gaining more interest, and I realised I was really enjoying it. And I was realising that I was really good at picking stuff up by ear, and I would get it in probably 2 or 3 minutes. I would just be able to just hear it and just play it. And from then on, say about year 9, it was when I went to stage 2, which was active learning. So that would be me asking people questions, asking my teacher questions, asking whoever I had around me, what should I do, how I should get better, reading books. When YouTube came out, I would go on YouTube and then have a look about how to play certain songs and how to pick up stuff via notation and chords and all that kind of thing. I was really actively learning the instrument, and this can apply to anything. That stage 2 is kind of active learning. Stage 3 is where a lot of people become demotivated and become very uninspired, which is consistency. So once you get to a stage where you're actively learning, you have everything in front of you, you go and you keep going, and then you get to a point where you feel like there's so much to learn, you just kind of don't carry on anymore, and then you kind of become less consistent to the point where you don't touch the instrument. That is the point where a lot of people find it hard to stay consistent and stay at a level where they're comfortable. And it's to do with a lot of things, but I'm going to give reasons as to, or things that you can try that may be stopping your creative flow, stopping your motivation. And these are a few things that I've written down. So the first thing is going back to a place or a time when you really felt happiness with what you were learning. I do this all the time. I always go back to when I was in school, and going back to when the teachers or when my friends would tell me that I was really good and I felt really good about that. That was a good feeling. That moment has always been when I was in school. It was a happy moment for me. I always go back to that point in my life, because if I'm at a stage where I feel demotivated, I think to myself, right, is there a point in me stopping? No. I've spent 14 years learning something, and for me to just kind of say, do you know what, I don't want to do it anymore, it doesn't make any sense for me personally, because it's just a waste. You spent 14 years of your life learning something. Why would you want to stop? Why would you want to give up? You've picked up this instrument because you felt happiness and you've enjoyed it. You've really gained so much from it, not just your happiness, but also you learn so much. You've learned so much about your piano, motor skills for your fingers. You've learned how to hear better. You've learned how to analyze. You've learned how to do all these things. And for me to just throw it away, for me, it wouldn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I always, if I feel like I'm at a plateau, or if I feel like I'm demotivated, I'll always go back to that point in time when I felt like, you know what, you've learned this instrument for a reason. You spent so much time, effort, and money in it. There's no point in even stopping. So number one would be going back to a place where you feel happiness in learning. Say you're learning psychology. The first moment when you realise that you really enjoyed learning about the mind, about how the mind works, that kind of thing. Okay, so number two is, who are you surrounding yourself with? What's your circle like? Who inspires you? Who gives you positive energy? Whose energy is negative? For me personally, I do have a very strong circle of people around me that I associate myself with. Just for a start, my family, they inspire me in ways which isn't directly related to piano. They inspire me in ways just in how they deal with their life, how they cope with life, what they've gone through in their lives. It's very inspiring, so it makes me want to just keep going and keeps me pushing. My mum, for a start, my sister, what they've gone through, what they've done throughout their lives, it's very inspiring, and what they've gone through and how they cope with certain things that just keeps knocking them down every single time. It's getting knock after knock after knock. How do they cope with it and how do they deal with it? And I realised that that's really inspiring, and I didn't realise this until later on in my life when I got older and I started to see things around me. I started to see how they were coping and what was going on, and the sheer determination that they had to overcome problems and obstacles. It's very inspiring. Talented friends, and again, not just friends who are pianists or friends who are musicians, but friends who have a certain energy about them. Again, speaking about my mum and my sister, and also I have lots of family in Leicester that have a very strong family unit, and it's very inspiring how they're all together. I have a friend, specifically one of my closest friends, who when I'm around their vibe, when I'm around her kind of energy, I can't be upset. She has a certain aura about her which is similar to my family, that they all have a very positive energy about them that I really love. It inspires me because it keeps me up, it keeps me going, it keeps me happy, It's just about trying to identify your surroundings. Who around you is positive? Who around you has a negative energy that you need to get rid of? And I do believe in energies. There's certain things that you can feel when someone approaches you, when someone comes towards you, not just physically, but also what they say to you, what their thoughts. And is it always negative? Is it positive? Do they inspire you? That's a really key thing as well, is being around a positive circle and being around people that inspire you. For me, not only is it friends, family, but also musicians. People like jazz pianists like Oscar Peterson, Chick Corea. The list goes on and on and on of pianists or musicians that really inspire me and keep me motivated and keep me going and keep me strong. And there's so much to learn from all these people, not just from a musical standpoint, but also from just how they think, how they react, what they do. All these things, do they give you a positive energy? That's another key thing, is being around a positive vibe, trying to be around as much positivity as possible. Okay, number 3 is your health. Just in general, how you're feeling. Maybe you might need to change your habits. It can be your eating habits. It can be you might need to exercise more. You may need to exercise regularly. You might need to change your diet. Just these things, because health is wealth. Your health, my granddad always says to me, your health comes first. If you're not healthy, you just can't give your all into anything if you're not healthy. Me personally, to stay healthy, I go to the gym every other day. I wake up really early in the morning. I wake up about 4:30 in the morning and 5 o'clock. Every other day I'll go to the gym. I'll work out for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I come back and I feel refreshed. My diet's changed a lot recently. I've recently cut out meat, I've cut out fish, all that kind of thing. I only really eat fruit and veg and nuts, and just really changed up my diet, and I feel so good about doing that because I've noticed a lot of things that have changed. And one thing that's changed for me is my concentration. I can concentrate a lot better when I'm practicing. I can concentrate for a lot longer than I used to. I wake up feeling a lot better. A lot of people find it hard to wake up in the morning and go gym or whatever, and for me there is this 5-10 second window when you open your eyes, and after that there's 10 seconds where you realize, okay, right, am I going to get up or am I going to go to bed? If you go past those 10 seconds, then more likely you're going to go back to bed. So what I do is I make sure I get up straight away. As soon as I open my eyes, as soon as I turn off my alarm, I get up, because I know if I don't get up, I'm going to stay in my bed, and I don't want to do that. I would have wasted another 2 hours. I get up, after 5 minutes I feel better. I go gym, I feel more alert, I feel awake, and I feel good. Your diet as well, what you're eating, what you're consuming in your body, how much exercise you're doing, because I feel like exercise is very important. It keeps your heart rate up, it keeps you alert, it keeps you awake, and there's many benefits to it. Diet as well. Try and change your diet. Maybe you're eating too much fast food that's making you feel sluggish and down constantly. Maybe you might need to just have some more fruit and veg. Maybe just see how it goes for a bit, you know. Try and put as much effort as you can in keeping your health up, because your health is very important. So that's number 3. And number 4 is there may be other possible blocks in your life that may be stopping you. It may not be directly linked to your field or the topic that you're doing, but it can just be something in your life that has been bugging you that you just need to just resolve before you can move on. It may be a relationship you're in that you're spending too much time focusing on it in a negative way. Come out of the situation a bit and realize, is that helping with your health? Is that helping with your mental state of mind, your well-being? It can be a family thing. It can be someone who you've recently cut ties with, and maybe that's playing on your mind. It can be anything. Again, I can't speak for everybody that's just watching this, but I can speak from my own experience, and there have been things that are blocking me that have kind of stopped me from staying focused, you know, kind of thing. And for me, it's been various things, but the main one I can think of is my decision to detach myself from a family member. And what that's done is I'm not focusing on the negatives anymore. That was a big negative. Now I'm focusing on positive energy constantly, because I felt like that was a dark cloud that was going over my head, and I felt like I needed to make a decision, and I've only seen benefits from doing that. Again, it's just a case of really trying to understand what blocks you may have in your life, and it could be anything. It could be anything from what I've spoken about. It can be your surroundings. It could be the energy you surround yourself with. It can be your health. I mean, it's so many different things. It's up to you to kind of find out what it is. One thing to think about is it's always important that if you feel like you have hit a brick wall, is to always try and keep your mind refreshed and learn something new. And when you learn something, make sure, again, you go back to stage 1, just make sure you have an interest in it and you have a certain love for it and you enjoy it. Plateaus are nasty because you can do the same thing for years and years and years and realize that you've wasted a lot of your life. And it's always important for me to always up the bar. I'm studying at university at the moment. I made a decision before coming that I wanted to make sure my level was constantly raising every single time I learned something. I was thrown in the deep end. I learned a Haydn sonata. First movement, I have a Haydn sonata in my first year. I first acknowledged that, okay, this is going to be hard. I know this is going to be really hard, but I kept going. And then if I felt like I've hit a plateau, I always try and go back to the point when I said to myself, you're doing this to up your level, so there's no point in you stopping now, so I just keep going. And it's a constant loop, but eventually I'm off. Every year I've constantly raised the bar. I've done a Haydn sonata, the first movement in my first year. The second year, piano, I did a bunch of different pieces, but the main one I learnt was Allegro Barbaro by Bela Bartok, which was well out my comfort zone. Was very hard. Like, it was extremely hard. During that period, I had developed tendinitis in my right hand. It was very hard for me during that period because I couldn't play. My life is in my hands. My job, teaching, gigging, all these things. And not just that, but just general activities in life, you know, like just opening a door or having a shower, you know. It was very painful, and it took me about a month or 2 months to recover. During that time, I had to find alternatives to keep me motivated, and it wasn't directly related to piano necessarily. I mean, yes, I was doing a lot of left-hand practice, and I was doing a lot of just in general, just learning about piano and analysis and all that kind of thing. But I keep myself busy and I keep my mind fresh constantly. So what I do as well as I learn languages for a hobby. I'm currently learning Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese at the moment, and I really enjoy it. And it keeps my mind active and it keeps me going. So I hope this has helped in some way. Just remember that you're kind of in charge of your motivation. You have to try and find ways and really try and think as to why you have certain plateaus and why you find it hard to keep yourself inspired and motivated. All these things are based upon what I've done and what I've done to keep myself going and what's really helped me. And I really hope that these things will really help you guys as well in your journey to whatever you're learning or whatever field you're going in, because motivation is what keeps us all going and what keeps us strong, what keeps us steady. So yeah, I hope this has helped everybody. I'm going to be uploading a lot more stuff about piano and voicings and that kind of thing, and there's going to be a constantly weekly thing that's going to happen every week, so hopefully you guys will take interest in that. So yeah, see you soon.